A group of people are exploring the depths of a lake in Turkey by water. People in the area have told them stories about valuable riches buried deep underground, but they are about to learn a secret that has been kept secret for a very long time. Researchers looking for artifacts found a strange, long-lost kingdom in Turkey's largest lake. People had different thoughts about Lake Van before this. Archaeologists who knew the area well told the divers that the lake didn't have much in it. The team chose to look into it, even though it wasn't clear what the truth was at this point. You might be wondering why the divers spent so much time looking around Lake Van's after hearing rumors. The lake really is in a historically significant part of Turkey, so the stories about riches buried under the water were interesting to learn more about. In the past, about 3,000 years ago, the Urartu Kingdom's main city was on the eastern shore of Lake Van. Parts of Turkey, Iran, and Armenia were all in the Urartu Kingdom. Since there wasn't enough proof, we still don't know a lot about this country. History buffs, on the other hand, have made a broad sketch of the place and its people. The area was once split into several separate kingdoms, but by the 9th century BC, they had come together to form Urartu. It had become a single name by that point. They may have done this because they were afraid of the Assyrians, but no one knows for sure. The remains of a Eurasian fortress can be found not far from Yerevan, which is the capital city of Armenia today. This shows that their forts were safe because they had big stone walls and strong supports. History buffs have also learned more about Urartu from a few books. At first, it looked like the people used simple pictograms to talk to each other, but over time, they started using the cuneiform writing system, which came from Mesopotamia, which was close by. Then it changed into its own unique shape. This country grew because it was built on rich land and gave its people many options. Farmers may have been the first people in history to make wine, but they didn't just grow fruits and veggies. People in Urartu also took care of animals like goats, sheep, horses, and cows for fun. These animals could be kept because the land was good for farming. The area had copper, gold, silver, iron, tin, and lead. The Urartu kingdom could deal with other wealthy nations because it was in a good spot. People in the area were neighbors, and the site was on a trade path that linked Asia and the Mediterranean. The northern and southern mountains of the land were a natural defense, but the eastern and western mountains could still be attacked. What person was in charge of Urartu? In this society, there was a monarchy that gave power to a small group of experts. Urartu's people also worshipped their gods and honored them by giving them gifts and animals as sacrifices. It was called Tashba and was built on a limestone platform on the eastern shore of Lake Van. It was Urartu's main city. Everyone in Tashba just called him Van, but the town wasn't very small. An old history encyclopedia says that there may have been as many as 50,000 people living in the settlement. The people who planned cities in the Urartu kingdom were also very smart for their time. A 50-mile-long canal was built to bring water from a nearby mountain straight into the main city. This allowed fruit to grow in lovely fields, and the Urartu kingdom was a great spot to live. Its enemies included the Medes, the Scythians, and the Sumerians, but the Neo-Assyrian state seems to have been its main enemy. Not quite that easy though, because there was proof that trade took place between the two areas as well. The Urartu country was gone from the map around the 7th century BC, which was a loss for everyone. There is no clue about what went on. People who dive. There were 3 people on the team: Kamali Beryl, Murat Kalikak, and Mustafa Akas, an academic from Vanduzanku Yale University's fishery department. A photographer and film producer named Toss and Sealant led them. He said that a lot of people had lived near Lake Van. They thought it held a lot of secrets and called it the Upper Sea. In light of this, we are looking for the lake's hidden gems. What did the scientists find when they went to the bottom of Lake Van to do their job? They seemed to have swum into a long-lost castle. The group found a wonderful historical site with walls that were up to 13 feet high. Selin told Everyday News that he and his team had been researching Lake Van for 10 years, but this find might have been the best thing they had ever found. We told everyone about all of these findings, he said. We are happy to say that an underwater castle has been found in Lake Van. He also said, "I think that microbialites carbonate mud deposits will help the region's economy through tourism, along with this castle. To find is a miracle." The divers thought the castle might be around 3,000 years old. That would mean it was built in Eurasia during the Iron Age. This is a good find because we don't know much about that place. How did this castle get lost in the first place? Lake Van's edges may have grown over time, but this fortress was clearly built on the bank of the lake in the past. Soon after the finding was reported in the news, researchers in the field of life science began their work. They talked to archaeologists who weren't on the underwater trip and learned that the walls may have been made differently. People who said they were built in the Middle Ages might have been lying. Çimalettin Koroglu runs a department of archaeology at Marmara University. He told Live Science in an interview why he didn't think the fortress was built in the Eurasian era. A history professor at Stony Brook University says that the walls don't look like they were built by the Eurasians, but rather in the Middle Ages or the late Roman Empire. Koroglu said that the walls look more like they were built during those times. Professor Paul Zemansky said that the idea that the castle is very old was even less true. He suggested that ruins from the past might have been used to build walls in the Middle Ages. But until more archaeological work is done on the spot underwater, we can only guess. De Verdelen told Live Science that a historian needs to do a full study of the area. There isn't a team here to dive and check out the castle. We hope that more can be done to help solve this interesting puzzle. Have a great day, and don't forget to like and follow.